Hello. Hi guys, how are you doing? This is Jose Rosario. I live in Peru. I'm Peruvian Italian, and I live in Peru, and I live in the community of Paracas, 250 kilometers south of Lima. This is a town in the middle of the desert that, of course, is in the seashore. And the reason I'm here is that we are talking about the tsunami, the one that it was created by Tonga, and it hit us the 15th of January right here in Peru. I was here in my town. I'm in the fourth floor of my building. And but this starts the day before when Tonga explodes and it's the big news and everything. So we were asking and wondering if there is going to be a tsunami. And they said, no tsunami. So Navy never declared a tsunami coming. So no one knew it's coming a tsunami. Of course, the tsunami was not a big thing. It was actually, I think, less than 60 centimeters of difference. But what happened is that the moment that arrived to the Peruvian coast, we were with a super high tide, because normally our tides are between 70 centimeters. That day we were like 105, like 107 centimeters, which is not normal. It's unusual to have these so high tides. So it came on in the worst moment, this little tsunami, but it was a tsunami that hurts us a lot. It hits. I was here. I was down there in the street at that moment. I was buying an ice cream right here outside outside the street, and then I start hearing the people start to yell. So I go to the corner, and then I see people running, and I start seeing the sea coming, growing up, because it's not like a big wave coming like in movies. It's like a big tide. The sea was inflating and just going into the little town. But all the people was in the beach, and the beach they had some sailboats there, some little things there. So it was wiping everything off. Kids running, people really scared because they didn't know how bad it was going to be. So here it was not really bad. No one person. We didn't have any losses for persons. No one died here in Paracas. We have 2 persons dying in the north of the country. 2 ladies that were in the sea. They were swimming in the sea. Of course, it came this big tide. Then the tide goes back, took them out of the sea, and happily we lost 2 lives because of this. But the problem is that Navy did not want to send the alert, even though we had a little tsunami. At this very same moment, my people, because I do tourism here in Peru, in Paracas, and we have a trek. My people was at that moment in the other side of the national reservation, crossing a beach to do a hike. And then they saw the sea and they start running. I have some video, some footage from these people there, that they were running because they see the sea coming out, and they had to go in the mountain and do the trek. When they want to do the trek, they have to wait till the water starts wiping a little bit so they could cross, because it's like a mountain in between 2 beaches, so the water was going around of it. But it was not a big thing, but it was dangerous, and they did not want to declare it. Now, once I said all this, it was very impressive, because you were seeing a lot of people running, all the clothes, umbrellas. I mean, the whole beach just floating all over, going into there is a front view that has a lot of restaurants. So water coming in the restaurants, maybe 15 centimeters inside of the restaurants, because the restaurants are like more than a meter, maybe a meter and a half higher than the sea. So basically it happened this. Also, that these little tsunamis, they have to learn this lesson, because now this is a U-shaped bay. It's a bay, it's a kind of closed bay like this. So basically, in order to go into the restaurants, we had to maybe have 1.6 meters of the tsunami. Here, it's not meaning that the whole wave was 1.6, but if you have like a funnel, it'll grow like this. All these forces come here and make, a growing that is not normal. This was a little one, but still a tsunami, still life in danger, and still interest in not sending the alarm. The alarm was not set. Even though that all the countries were having the alarm, here in Peru, they said, no tsunami, there is no alarm. So this is what happened. Now, after this, if I may say so, what happens is that in the north of Paracas, which is Lima, a little bit further in Lima, close to Lima, the big city, the capital of Peru, there was a ship loading oil. And with this tide, with this tsunami, was enough to break the pipe. They keep on pumping, and they throw 11,000 tons in the sea of oil. So they create a whole mess in the whole north, because the current goes from the south to the north and kill so many birds, so many animals. destroy beaches, everything. All the media, of course, is trying to blame on the company of the ship and the petrol company. But the truth is, we didn't have an alert. So, I mean, that's why we have all the system. We knew there is Tonga exploding. We knew all the other countries are having alerts, but not here. Anyway, all this oil went to this, and it was a big mess. What they did in Paracas is, after we had this tsunami, one day that was little, and it cost us maybe $15,000 in losses. That's all what we lost. We lost umbrellas, we lost, little things. Yeah, I don't even think it's $20,000 that we lost here. But maybe make us very, very smart move. They said, oh, now we want to look good. We screw up, so now we're gonna do it worse. What they did is they shut down Paracas for 1 week, just in case Tonga have another, there's another exploding. And like the most crazy thing, because if it explodes, it will take to the next day till it arrives here, so we will know. And even though that, they just shut down the whole city, and they created more than 3 million soles losses to people who was reopening after 2 years of shutdown because of the pandemic, because we were completely shut down. It's just touristic area. So we have no other ways to live here. No tourists, no town. So we were just reopening, and they shut us down until the 15th of January. We see no one coming here because all the mess they did, they shut down all the city for 1 week. They shut down the national reservation. They shut down the high lands, trekkings and everything in order to gain image. So I don't know how really works this society, but what I can tell you is that we should not depend on humans' decisions to know what's going on. This has to be some automatic system because they decided that it was not convenient to set the alarm. We had a tsunami here in 2007. All my town had to live in the mountain for 2 months because the whole town was below the sea for 1 night or something like this, so it was destroyed. And even though that, knowing that there's a possibility of tsunami, that they were talking about a possible tsunami, and that, they didn't care. They were just in the beach. And that happened in 2007. It's 2022. It's not so far away. And it means people does not really understand it. So we need the governments, we need the organizations, we need all the weather control and everything to be very clear to have these measures. And also education, not only to the grown-ups, the education has to be going to the kids to understand what are these kind of situations, emergency situations. If a system will do it for them, you are taking away from someone the chance to say yes or no, it's convenient or it's not convenient, we'll do it later. And this is something that is natural disaster. We cannot be working with humans who can do this while we have already computers and all the systems to send the alert immediately to every single one. I really think it's something that it should be a global thing. All the countries of the world have to have this system working, because then we will take away this, and also it will be much faster. It will be connected to probably to all computers. Now in Peru, if there is an earthquake or something, we have in the telephone an alert, also for tsunamis. But still someone has to decide push it or not push it. And that's what the problem is. We got to take this off. People was so scared. They thought that the world is going away. They didn't know what to do. And the amazing thing is, instead of running to the sides of the streets and run up, they were going into the businesses. So, I mean, completely wrong. Because if that would be like a bigger, they will all die. People was really scared. They were completely disoriented. And it's a normal thing that humans, when you get a very strong impact, emotional impact or something, you blank. Your brain stops somehow. And this is what I see. People didn't know what to do. They were just looking for the kids and trying to go into the stores. And that was a completely wrong thing. They had to go to the streets and run away. We are in a little town which is not a big city. We had which is called Serenaz, which is the city hall security. They came here, of course, the little police department, they came here to the coast to try to help. That was immediately, but it was not a special help or anything like that. It was just the local people and the local institutions trying to do what they could. Navy just did, they just show up like 2 hours later, 1 hour later, you know, and just to shut down everything, not to really take real care of it. You cannot really trust the governments, not in countries like mine, that they will do the right thing at the right moment. In certain countries, of course, they have very well prepared and other way of managing. So this is why I think a global solution has to be implemented. Why? Because you cannot tell this country, you deserve it. No, you don't deserve it. You have to have it. No, you cannot have it. That's impossible. The only way is we all have it. I am the part of the Bureau of the National Reservation as well. So in my case, if I will have this information, of course, I will shut down everything for this day because I know it's coming. But for that day, for that moment, because the tsunami, they call it not normal waves. They call it not normal waves. It's something like this. Of course, it's anomalous waves, but it's still a tsunami because it's been created by an earthquake, by an explosion that moved big masses of water. I've been living here in the shore for the last 20 years of my life. Temperatures are not the same anymore. Earthquakes are getting worse and worse. Tsunamis are, before 2007, I didn't know about the tsunami. There was one that I was hit or something like this, but that was it. And now it's every 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years is coming something. Everybody can have an idea, his own opinion. But what is truth is that the weather has changed seriously. And the sea is getting completely different. I lived 20 years on the seashore, and I see what has been the difference only in 20 years. Imagine what is going to be in 100 years or the next 50 years. No matter where you are in the world, something bad is going to happen. That's for sure. If you're alive, the only sure thing is that something that you don't expect is what is going to happen. Expect the unexpected, because it's the only thing is going to happen. Union, it's so important, because one of the problems is that when you want to do something by yourself, you will not make a real difference. Only uniting with others, you will make a difference. And I think one of the ways that people can be, you can be happier when you feel secure. And you can feel secure if you have the tools to provide your own security and to unite and gather with other people who are looking with the same interest. If you are here watching this, it's because you care. And if you care, you are a great human being. We have to make a difference. And people like you and me who cares about these things, we can make a difference. Have a great